Is Geoff Wilson's Cards HQ in trouble? Let's find out. I'm a 40-year sports card collector, former sports journalist, broadcaster, and teenage sports card dealer. Now I make YouTube videos covering sports cards and talking sports. Welcome to EDI Sports Show. At the beginning of February, Geoff Wilson, aka the Sports Card Investor, opened up the mega sports card shop, Cards HQ in Atlanta at the beginning of February. And it looked like it was going to start off with a bang. In fact, he opened the store the same weekend as the Culture Collision Sports Show in Atlanta, Georgia. And he had every influencer there in the hobby for a trade night at his shop. But the problem is the following week, when they had the official opening of the store, Sports Card Radio broadcast live with video that showed there was nobody in the shop. In fact, there were more employees there than customers, which begs the question, is Cards HQ in trouble? Now, in my professional life, I'm a former educator turned entrepreneur, and I also do consulting services with businesses and schools who want to transform into 21st century organizations. And one of the things that I do to help businesses and CEOs is to help them overcome the problems that they created. Now, there are 4 problems that Cards HQ is running into. One of them is that they don't have enough customers. 2 is they don't make enough money. 3, they have a brand awareness issue. And 4, they don't have a very good value proposition. Now, if you're a business owner or a person in business, you know all 4 of those things are really major problems. In fact, if you're dealing with all 4 of those problems, you might not survive. Now, according to the Small Business Administration, that's the SBA, the stats are not good. In fact, 50% of small businesses fail within the first 3 years. 75% of small businesses fail within 10 years. So it's not looking good for Cards HQ. In fact, the question is, how long can they survive if they don't get enough customers? I want to know what you think. Please leave your answer in the comments. In this week's Where's the Market segment, I figured I'd piggyback off the Geoff Wilson's Cards HQ story and actually talk about one of the things that you see on his channel, which is the top 5 cards that you should buy. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you what to buy and sell. But here I thought, maybe what if I do the top 5 players that you should consider buying? In fact, these are the top 5 players that I think you should be looking at in 2024. So if you're ready, let's get to that list. Here's number 5. With spring training here, let's look at a baseball player. So number 5 is Ronald Acuna Jr. Now, last season, if you're not aware, Acuna was a monster. He hit 41 home runs, drove in 106 RBIs, hit .337 batting average in 643 at-bats. He had an unbelievable year, and if he stays healthy this year, he is entering in his prime years of age at 26 years old. So this is the time that Acuna can actually become a Hall of Famer if he can put in numbers over the next several years. So he's number 5 on the list. Now, who's number 4? Let's go to basketball. The number 4 player on this list is Jason Tatum. Now, you might know the Boston Celtics superstar as the best player on that team, but really what you need to understand is he's already played in 1 NBA Finals, which is more than a lot of other players in the NBA, and he's been to the Eastern Conference Finals several times. In fact, he lost last year to the Miami Heat, and he averaged a double-double in that finals series. So he averaged 25.3 points per game and 10.3 rebounds per game. If he and the Boston Celtics can make another NBA Finals, and if he can finally win a championship, I think Jason Tatum's cards will be absolutely worth more money. Number 3, let's move to football. I know I'm going to put this name out there and people are going to say, but that's a no-brainer. Well, hold on. So number 3 is Patrick Mahomes. Now, before you jump down my throat and be like, well, but Patrick Mahomes, he's not a sleeper. To be honest with you, the hobby hasn't given as much love to Patrick Mahomes because he's not Tom Brady. And I don't think personally that he will ever replace Tom Brady. Tom Brady has been to the Super Bowl 10 times. I don't think anyone's ever going to beat that. Now, Mahomes has been to the Super Bowl 4 times. Do I think he can go a couple more? Yes. But he has a very short window with the Kansas City Chiefs. First of all, Andy Reid's not going to coach forever. And once Andy Reid goes and you have a coaching change, well, now you have a real problem on your hands. 2, all the other players that he plays with, they also have a short window. Travis Kelce's not going to be around forever. And so what is he going to be able to do? So I honestly think that the Kansas City Chiefs have 2 or 3 more years to try to make it to a couple more Super Bowls. And if they miss, then I don't think that Patrick Mahomes with Kansas City will get back to the Super Bowl. Now, maybe they trade him if they rebuild and try to build up their team again. And if he gets traded to another team, maybe he could do what Brady did, which is go from New England to Tampa Bay and still win another championship. But regardless, Patrick Mahomes' value is undervalued because people are talking more about CJ Stroud than they are talking about Patrick Mahomes. That's what you need to be aware of. What's Patrick Mahomes' card's going to be worth when he retires? And that's where the real value will come in. Now let's get to number 2, but we're going to go back to baseball. And this guy, I think, is really primed for real value going forward. And his name is Juan Soto. Now, you know Juan Soto's not a rookie anymore, but you also know that Juan Soto just signed with the New York Yankees. And what that means is he now has the pinstripe effect. Now, there's many things that you need to know about the sports card hobby. One of them is the gold standard. 2 is the pinstripe effect. And 3 are the teams, the franchises in sports that are always worth more than others. It's just the way it is. If there's more fans for a particular team, then those cards are going to be worth more because there's more demand, which means that New York Yankees players typically are worth more than other players. So if you have a Juan Soto on a New York Yankees team, his cards are going to be worth more. So that's why I think Juan Soto is definitely a player to look out for in 2024. Now let's get to number 1 on the list. Now, I could have picked any vintage player that I wanted, and I know a lot about vintage, but I'm choosing this one because I think there's more upside here. And the name is Roberto Clemente. Now, for anybody that doesn't know who Roberto Clemente is, he played between the 1950s and the 1970s, and he was killed in a tragic plane accident on a relief mission to South America. Now, what you don't realize is that he started his career back in the 50s, and that's one of the things that most people don't realize is that his rookie card is the 1955 Topps set, one of the most famous sets in the hobby. And his rookie card is not, it's expensive, but it's not break the bank expensive, which is why you might want to consider that card right now or any of the cards. And I'm going to give you 2 examples. So, for example, his 1955 rookie card, the PSA 2 just sold for about $1,500. Now, if you want to take a look at a less degraded card, a PSA 7, that one goes for around $12,000. If you don't want to spend that much money on a card, you can look at the 1960 Roberto Clemente, which is a gorgeous card. Here you go. And this one, an SGC 8.5, went for around $2,500. And those are the top 5 players I recommend you look at in 2024. Now it's time to go behind the scenes. My goal on YouTube is just to have fun and to talk to you guys and to create better quality videos, which is why I created this show, because it allows me to talk about a lot of different things in one full video. Now, most of my audience are millennials, but I do hope that younger viewers will start to watch my channel. And part of that, I figured what I would do is talk about how I actually put these videos together, because I don't know if you understand how much time and effort it goes in to actually producing higher quality videos. Now, I know there are hundreds of YouTubers who love to flaunt about how much money they make on YouTube. I do not make any money on YouTube, so I'm not in that category. Maybe I will in the future, but right now I just make videos because it's fun to do and I like doing a visual medium. But if you want to build a channel, if you want to do what I'm doing, then what do you need to actually think about? And how hard is it to put these videos together? So I figured I'd go through the steps of how I make these videos. So step one is actually coming up with the ideas. Now, that might sound easy, and for me, I just need to talk to different people and look at social media and go, what is everybody talking about? And then I can actually do that as a hot take. But then I want to talk about some other things in the hobby, and so you have to sit down and script out your show. Now, I used to do just sitting here with the video camera, and you can see me talking to you, and I just used to do it off the cuff. And that's because I was a radio broadcaster for several years. I used to just sit on radio. I was a play-by-play announcer and also a radio talk show host. And so I could just talk without having a script if I needed to. The problem is that when you make YouTube videos, people don't have the attention span to go through just me talking and you watching. When you're listening on radio, it's different because you only have the audio. You're not watching me at the same time. So presumably you're doing something else and listening to me at the same time. And that's a different way of consuming content. When you're watching a video, you can't do something else. So if you want to just put my video on and just listen to the audio while you do something else, you're probably going to get more out of the video. But if you're watching me, there's a rule in television, which is the 2-minute and 30-second rule, which means that if your story goes more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, people will start to get bored. Now, I was a sports reporter and a news reporter on TV for a couple years, and so I learned that 2-minute and 30-second rule it was pretty hard and fast. Like, if you tried to go over that, you really were losing your audience. So that's why I decided to start scripting my videos, because I wanted to keep things tight. I wanted to not bore you with what I was talking about. So that's the second thing that you need to do if you want to produce videos, is you need to script out what you're going to say. Now, number 3 on the list is actually doing all the work, is actually putting the video together and then editing the video. Now, it takes a while to edit a video. If I'm going to do 2 minutes and 30 seconds on a story, it's going to take me about 2 hours to edit that video. Yes, every minute of video takes about an hour of editing. And that's something that you need to be aware of. So all of these videos that are longer in length take me a lot longer to edit, which is why it's been difficult to produce as many videos as I would like. So hopefully you can understand that, and I appreciate your patience. Now, the last piece of putting all of these together is the part that I hate the most, and I'll be honest with you. It's actually uploading the videos to YouTube. And the reason is because I need to now figure out what's the title, what's the thumbnail, and what's the description in the box. And that's really hard to do. I just would love to be able to just put up the videos and you guys watch them and that's the end of it. But that's not how YouTube works. You have to actually have a title, a thumbnail, and a description. And so when people used to ask me like, well, why do you not put the freebies into YouTube? Why do you put them on Facebook? That's the reason, is because it's just too much work. I've already put in hours and hours of time editing and shooting videos. I don't want to add more time on my list to putting, links in the YouTube description. It's just easier to put one link to the Facebook group. You can then go there and download all the freebies that you want. It's just less work on my shoulders. So that's the whole process of me putting videos together on YouTube. I hope that you learned how you could do that too if you want to build a YouTube channel yourself. Again, for my younger audience, that might be something that you want to do. And so hopefully I've helped you do that. Now let's get to viewer comments. I run a poll every month in my community. Now, if you're not aware of that, here is the last month's poll. So which player do you think is better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? And a lot of people came in with their votes, and guess what? 91% of you said Michael Jordan was way better than LeBron James. Now, if you haven't voted yet for the new poll, here's the question. March 2024 will be a good time to buy sports cards or sell sports cards. What do you think? And leave why you think it's a good time to buy or sell in the comments on the poll, and I'll get to talk about them at the end of the month. Thanks for joining me this week. If you have a story you want me to cover, you can contact me at X or IG at EDI Sports Cards. That's all for this week. I'll see you soon.